Hey everybody, welcome to another roaring edition of Shop Talk with Mike, or I don't even remember what I named the channel, piss on it. Out in the shop tonight, got Avengers Endgame playing in the background. I'm going to try to diagnose an issue I've been having with the green car, my super stock Plymouth. Late last year, kind of developed a thing in the last couple races where fired up, it idled perfectly. But as soon as I put it in gear and try to move it, any movement of the pedal just would kill it. It would just fall on its face. Got so bad where I couldn't even drive it up to the stands or in the staging lanes without fear of rear-ending somebody trying to keep it running. But it was crazy because make a pass in it, man, it'd run like a scalded ape. So I don't know. So we're gonna try to look at a couple things here. I've already been through the carburetors. I wanted to make sure there was a needle and seat sticking, anything like that. So next step is I'm gonna yank the intake off of it and see if I possibly had an intake leak. So I mean, your guess is as good as mine. I'm trying to figure this shit out myself. So I don't know. Let's see what we can find. Just real quick, here's the carburetors I run. They're just a semi-later version of the Carter AFB. So they were like the next generation. So this is very close to like a 3705, which would have been on like your real max wedge cars, that sort of stuff. It's a 750. Good carburetors. Watching my dad work on these things when I was a kid, so kind of know my way around them a little bit. So I've already had the tops off of it, checked the needles and seats. Everything looks good. Floats weren't full of fuel, holding it open. So nothing too crazy there. So they are functioning perfectly. There's one, there's the other one. But yeah, been through both of them, and nothing suspect inside of there. So hell if I know. But here's the car. If you're not familiar with it, it's a 1963 Plymouth Savoy that I purchased when I was 14 as just a roller, baby, just a basket case. Drove up to Michigan and bought it from local super stock legend Arlen Vanke. He was sitting behind his garage up there, and through the contact of a friend who kind of let the word get out that we were looking for, just a body to start something with. And he was like, "Yeah, come up and get this thing. I'm too old to work on this piece of shit." So yeah, I drove up there, 8 hours one way, and drug it back to Ohio. And yes, let me tell you, it was a basket case when we brought it home, but took me 10 years to get it as you see it is now, helping my father and brother. And so yeah, but I love this car. She boogies pretty good, run it nostalgia super stock. There's my old man. Everything I do is for him. But yeah, I try to keep it classy, kind of like, what it would have been, kind of a throwback to what it would have been in the mid-60s. But pretty straightforward stuff. But here we go up here. Let's just say I'm in a stock block 440. It's a 78 truck block 440. It's a little bigger. It's got a bigger arm in it, so it's got a 415 Eagle crank in it, and so it's 500 cubic inches, 30 over. But yeah, she does real good. So I put this Modman intake manifold on it last year, and just trying to get her dialed in, you know what I mean? So let's pull that sucker off and see if there's any telltale signs of leakage on the intake gaskets. So let's give it a shot. All right, well, let's try to take this off. Super easy. It's just 8 bolts. I kind of don't know if there is a pattern to do this without cracking this aluminum intake, but I'm just going to go very slow, do the corners, and see what we can find. Small little bolts, 3/8. Just a half turn on each of them, get it started. There's the corners. I'll do an inside one here. I'm sure somebody could be like, "Oh my God, that's not the right pattern." But I'm just going slow. Nothing stupid. Okay, they're all cracked. Well, loosened is what I meant to say, not cracked. But good little motor. This has been a good motor. I had a factory cross ram on it for years, and it was a consistent 1050 car. And like anybody else, I wanted to go a little bit faster. So did a couple little things, mainly lighten the car up a lot. Put some fancy wheels on it. Yeah, it probably took about 400 pounds off the car between wheels and bumper brackets and all kinds of crazy stuff. Put this intake on it in the quest for 10 O's. And by God, we did it. Thing runs consistent 990s as is. Well, actually, I tell a lie. I could not get it in the 10s when I first put this intake on it. But I tell you what I did. I put some 1-inch spacers under the carburetors, because I read if you increase the plenum on these intakes, on these Modmans, they'll pick up quite a bit. So did that, and then boom, wouldn't you know it, she went like a 997 the first time I had it out. So that was cool. Very cool. But yeah, this is the Indy Modman. But real no complaints about it. The car's never backfired one time. So I'll finish getting these out and we'll get ready to take this sucker off. Okay, got all the bolts out of this son of a bitch. We're gonna lift this thing off here, just like so. Very carefully. Walk this over here. I'll just set this right here on the bench for the time being. Well, there's that. Let's see what we got here. Looking for anything that looks suspect. I don't know. Do you see anything? I don't know. Boy, I don't know, gang. I don't see any telltale signs of any foul play. I mean, all the corners. I got a little bit of black spoo RTV underneath on the head side of the gasket, just around the ports. And these are all stuck real good all around there. Both sides. Top, bottom, there's nothing weird there. This is all glued down real good there. And over here on the intake, I mean, there's a solid outline of the gasket. This is white lithium grease that you use to, when you install it, just to make sure it kind of slides around with ease. But there's a nice little black line all the way around the ports, showing where it was a good seal. Again, these are max wedge size ports, by the way, intake runners. So I see nothing suspect there, which is a bummer. I was kind of hoping to see, you know, something be like, oh my God, that's it. So, So, I just don't know, gang. I just don't know. So I'm thinking, I don't know. I didn't see any signs of intake leaks. Got guess I'll have to dive back into carburetors. It's so weird because it was fine all summer, and the last couple times I had it out, it started very small. So it was just a small little hiccup when I would try to move the car or drive it up to the staging lanes, and just not even enough to make me really think twice about it. Car was running badass, clicking off nines left and right. And then I had it out 2 times after that, and every time I would move the car, it would get progressively worse. As soon as, like, started up fine, it would idle. As soon as you hit the gas, it would just blow up. And, like, it was impossible to keep the damn thing running. If you got the RPMs high enough, it would light, and, you know, then you would run into the issue of, like, you know, you're trying to keep it running in the pits, and it's just like, and, you know, trying not to rear end somebody. So, you know, originally I thought it could have been the pump shot or something like that. I don't know if you're familiar with Carter AFBs, but like, you know, the squirters. So I messed with, you know, I messed with the pump shot lever here, had it in different holes to, you know, lengthen and shorten the shot. Maybe the squirters are too big on it. Maybe it's getting way too much fuel, but it was so weird because it started so small and progressively got worse to the point where I couldn't even move the car, or hardly keep it running. The plugs are very, very rich. I mean, they're black. I've never seen them that black before. So I feel like, you know, originally that's what I thought. It was an overfuel problem, whether too big of a shot through the squirters. But once it got over the idle, the car would haul ass. So I never had an issue with it. So I don't know if anybody has any suggestions. You know, I'm just out here trying to dumb dick through this myself. I have no idea what I'm doing. So any suggestions are welcome. Until next time, out in the shop with Mike, or whatever the hell I call the channel. So, all right. Okay, bye.